and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Now that was a miracle. That was simply just a miracle. It was a miracle. Look how dark I am. Ooh, now look how light I am. Now look how dark I am. I'm dark and I'm light. I had to change browsers quickly. Change browsers, change trousers, change schnauzers. I'm just an incoherent old man. Don't mind me. I'm just passing through. Good morning, folks. It is Thursday, March 9th, 2023. A lot of my friends were born on this day. A lot of my friends who are now deceased were born on this day. But most of my, I had like 6 friends when part of my main crew growing up, and they were all born on March 9th. So I'm just gonna, remember that. Send out a happy birthday to wherever they happen to be in the universe. Had a no-show last night. A no-show. Authors. Very discouraging. I'm thinking of ending the evening program altogether. And I couldn't help it. I was ranting a little bit on Facebook last night about this, because I do feel like I have been a really valuable resource for authors who struggle to get noticed, to get their books known by people, because there are a lot of authors and there are not a lot of non-author outlets where people can actually connect with lay people, not authors. There are a lot of author podcasts where authors are selling books to authors. And yes, authors buy books. I'm looking like Uncle Fester today. Good morning, Ian. Well, I look like Uncle Fester every day, don't I? A little more so, maybe. Do I need to stick a light bulb in my mouth? Whatever. Um, but so I do help. I have been helping lots of really good authors connect with regular readers, people who might not, be tuned into every author that comes out with a book. And there have been some really good authors I've had on the show. But more often than not, the no-shows are authors. And I don't understand this. This is not like I'm not working hard to go ask authors to be on the show. They come to me. They come to me through a variety of different ways, sometimes through publicists, sometimes through Podmatch and matchmaking sites for podcasters and hosts, and there's a lot of them. They come from a variety of ways, but man, I'm having trouble with the lips this morning. They come to me and request to be on the program. Then they choose the date. And then the Sunday before they're supposed to come on, I send them a reminder and the guest login code. Then the day before they're supposed to come on, they get a reminder. And they still don't show up. And sometimes there's an excuse. And listen, life gets in the way. Shit happens. And you hate to bury somebody and then find out, my mother got run over by a car 5 minutes before the show was supposed to start. I'm sorry, but that was my I understand that. It just so happens you had 3 mothers get run over by cars this week sometimes, but, uh, shit happens. And you can't bury everybody because of one person's mistake. But I think maybe I'm tooting my own horn or believing I'm more important than I am. I think authors in general are going to lose a valuable resource because of, and that valuable resource would be me and my show, because of a few assholes. I want to read you because it took 4 hours for this guy who was supposed to be on last night to write back to me and have an excuse. So at least he did that, because there have been people who have made no attempt to explain why they didn't show up. These things are out of order. Date. Let me see here. He was in here last night somewhere. Where are you? Um, name is Edward Miskey, and he was the sex, drugs, and cancer guy. I was really looking forward to this conversation too. Um, can't find his email now. Figures. I should have left it up before when I was reading it. 1:07 a.m. Oh, here he is. Edward Miskey. He says, "Hey man, I am so sorry. This was not on my calendar." Well, why wasn't it on your calendar? Who's responsible for putting it on your calendar? This is a guy I met through Podmatch.com. He said, "I sent you a message on Podmatch to reschedule this evening. You can't wait until the day of the show to reschedule and go on a site. They don't send me notifications." He said, "I moved it on your calendar link. I'm so sorry for the miscommunication." Well, here's the thing. I don't have a calendar link. I built my own calendar, and you can't move it. You have to request stuff. So either somebody's fabricating, lying, fibbing, not telling the truth, or he's very confused. Which do you think it is? It doesn't matter. You got to understand that if it happened once or twice or 10 times, I wouldn't be such a dick about it. But if it happens 200 times, what's required of this thing is it takes some time for me to say, who is this person? Should they be on the show? Vet them out and confirm the date. Then I have to schedule it within StreamYard, create graphics for it, post a bucket, link to it, get their bio, put it in there, get their relevant links, put it in the descriptions. All that takes some of my time. And then get ready for the show about an hour before. Make sure I have their book to show. Make sure I read some of the book, if not all of the book. So I have some questions that I can ask them about the book. Make sure I have some idea of where they're going to want to take the conversation. All that takes time, my time. I put that work in, and then they don't show. And they go, "Oh, can I reschedule?" So about a year ago, I started, if you want to reschedule, if you fuck up and you don't have a really good reason, not excuse, but reason. My house burnt down with my whole family in it. That's a good reason to not show. Not a good reason. It's a reason. It's a reason, an acceptable, understandable reason. And there are things short of that that probably are also acceptable. But if you don't have one of those, I'm going to charge you a rescheduling fee. That didn't seem to stop anybody from doing it. People are just inconsiderate. Me, me, me. I want to promote my book. I want to do it when it's comfortable for me. And if I forget, it's no big deal. I didn't put any work in. Fuck you. I'm upset about it. And I hate to be just a guy who's always complaining about something. Maybe I don't hate to be that. Maybe I love to be that. I love to be the guy who's always complaining about something. And that's a good segue. Because in the this I find interesting this morning. By the way, there's no guests here so today. So if anybody wants to pop in, they can pop in. If they don't want to pop in, they don't have to pop in. I should have sent a message to Dave. Dave, Dave's going through some stuff right now. He's always going through some stuff. He's like me. He's always going through something. But where was I? Oh, de-influencers are the thing today. De-influencers. Now, this is how fucked up we are as a people. We're inventing strange, new, stupid words every day. De-influencing. There's no such thing as de-influencing. Really, think about it. De-influence. You're influencing somebody. You're an influencer. You're influencing them to not do something is not de-influencing them. It's influencing them to not do something. You're not a de-influencer. There's no such thing. I can't de-influence you. But de-influencers are sharing that the things that people should stop buying and absolutely loving it. Here's the deal, and I've been saying this for oh my god, at least several years now. I can't remember when the idea first occurred to me. We hear, and in politics all the time, you hear this argument about capitalism, socialism, communism, uh, fiscal stuff that within the government spending, taxation, and all that kind of stuff. All that bullshit is not the root of our problem. Humanity. What the root of the problem is doesn't matter the system, communism, socialism, capitalism, fuckitism. You know what matters? Consumerism. We just love to buy shit, useless shit that we don't need or never gonna want. We have stacks and stacks of crap. So the de-influencer, the influencing negatively, there's no fucking de-influencing. I'm sorry. That's all about influencing people to stop buying shit they don't need, which I am totally for. I just don't love the term de-influencer. Uh, Videos that are part of a de-influencing trend which started as people pushing back against buying things. Now, there are things you need to buy. You can't stop buying everything, but you can stop buying useless shit. Dollar stores. Dollar stores are full of shit nobody needs. Sometimes it's convenient. Listen, better to pay $1 for something than pay $5 for something just because the store is a different store. I get that. But so trends move at hyper speed on TikTok, where clothes, cups, and even slang are cool for shorter periods of time. See, we're buying stuff because it's cool to have, because other people have it. We feel like we need to have it. It's cool. If you're buying something just because it's cool to have, you're probably a teenager, at least at heart, in your mind, influencing, de-influencing. If somebody on TikTok says, "See this cup?" And this is a cool cup, I have to say. This is a cool cup. I did not buy it. It was a gift from an author who showed up. But it's a cool cup. But just because I'm on television or I'm on the internet or on radio using this cup and telling you it's a cool cup, I'm not suggesting you go out and buy this cup. If you are buying this cup because I said it was cool, there's something missing inside you. You're buying to fill a gap, a hole, a piece of your spirit that is missing. The hashtag TikTok made me buy it has over 44.3 billion with a B views, and shopping hauls where people show off the multiple items they bought on one shopping trip are a key part of TikTok culture. I did not know this. I don't spend any time on TikTok. It's not my thing. It's for people a lot younger than me. But shopping hauls, people go to the store and buy as much as they can and then videotape it to show off on TikTok all the shit they bought. It's kind of like Jackass. Let me show you what an idiot I am. And I'm going to tape it and I'm going to show it to you. Anyway, constant display of overconsumption is bothering more and more people like me. and comments on videos clearly showed. Let me. I can't even make some of these comments that big, can I? I have been thinking about this nonstop and wondering why no one was saying anything. I literally can't stand the Stanley Cup in every color. Somebody said hockey replicas of the Stanley Cup in every color, like be that. It will. I'll never understand the must-have cups. Blah 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 blah. Must-haves. Must-haves is a big thing. Um, Sage Lanier, founder of Sustainable and Just Future, a nonprofit focused on youth environmental education, thinks that de-influencing, and there's no fucking such thing as de-influencing, and they're just gonna keep saying it over and over until it becomes a thing. Can we stick to the words that we know and make sense? Why do we have to invent new words that don't make sense? De-influencing. Ah. Can stress de-influencing can stress how important environmental action really is. Now it becomes kind of segueing into a climate change thing. Like, eh, you know what? Maybe there's something to that, but that's not the way you're going to get people to stop buying junk to save the planet. People obviously don't give a fuck about the planet, right? If we gave a fuck about the planet, we would have stopped over plasticizing the world 60 years ago. Plastic's the devil. Don't tell people in who rely on plastics that they will fucking stab you in the heart. I used to work for a packaging machine developer, or it's robots that package your food. Now, the first day working there, I was a marketing director and helping sell these machines. But my first day on the job, I noticed, holy shit, we're putting a lot of plastic out there. A lot of plastic that gets used once. And the CEO of the company sat me down. He said, "Listen, go to the supermarket and look around. Notice how everything is disposable plastic, one-time use plastics. Everything, everything you buy, one-time use plastics. And it's really totally poisoning the planet, and nobody really gives a shit. Speaking of not giving a shit,
Good morning.
good morning. Do you give a shit?
Uh, I mean, usually I try to. I really try to,
I had to
because
work.
when I don't, I get real grumpy.
Yeah. I woke up with a bellyache, a really bad bellyache, and we're hoping the coffee helps me beam it
I
out.
did not get a whole lot of sleep last night. I
Why?
was up.
What?
I don't know. I
What?
think that I have a lot going on, so my brain is going to spin pretty fast over the next few days, especially since I had that show in Albuquerque on Sunday. Uh, I'm I'm uh, I'm really excited
Is
because
this
this
the
is like,
ask me anything? No. The question. I have questions. Is this that one
yeah,
or
this
no?
will be. I have questions on Sunday the 12th at Dry Heat Comedy Club in Albuquerque. I'm doing the I Have Questions show. It's 30 minutes of myself, and Royal Wood is also going to be performing. We'll both do 30 minutes individually, and then at the end of the show, we're both going to get on stage for an interactive Q&A session with the audience. That'll also be 30 minutes.
What if
So
the audience doesn't have any questions?
that is something that is definitely a possibility that they might, freeze up, tense up, not really want to do anything. So then it's good to have questions to go that you might have between the comics that the comics can ask each other,
Uh,
and hopefully that will like spark. And I think it's good to start that way, to start talking amongst the comics on the stage, because then it kind of lets the audience know the back and forth that we're looking for, and then we kind of throw it to them like, you have a question, whatever. um I already know what my first question for Royal is going to be, but I'm not going to give it away here.
no,
um
no, don't do that.
but
I have a question.
huh
De-influencing.
Oh man.
Do you know what? Do you know what this is all? I mean, honestly, de-influencing. Think about this though. They created a
Well,
word to say
it's a euphemism.
it's a
You know what I
weird.
mean? Because I mean, think about, okay, so here's the thing, and this is what's upsetting to you, and at least what I think is what I think is upsetting about it, and what I think you also find upsetting about it is, listen, stop putting lipstick on a fucking pig. Okay, you're still just trying to cancel people. You can call it de-influencing, but you're just trying to cancel a corporation or cancel a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're trying to take the wind out of the sails of somebody you don't fucking agree with on some political fucking bullshit.
that's
And
true.
so now you're going to try and affect them in a professional manner.
But also, at its root, it's hiding what it really is. It's influencing.
Right. Yeah.
It's influencing you to not do something is not de-influencing. It's still
Right.
influencing.
Yeah. Of course it is. Of
Yeah.
course it is.
I mean,
But they don't want to call it what it is because they don't want to seem like they're controlling you. But that's
but
exactly what we want you to do. We want you to think like we think, do what we do, and do what we say.
But
You know what I mean?
as somebody who is a man of modest means, and I think it's fair to characterize you as a man of modest means, don't you agree that consumerism is a disease in America? Like
Yeah.
we have to have a when I and now I hate I'm going to sound like an old man, and I am an old man, so that's why I sound like an old man. But when I was a kid, we didn't need a television in every room of the house. There was
We didn't
one.
have one. Yeah, we didn't have a television in every room in the house. We had one television in my house my entire childhood.
As big as the entire wall now. It has to be in every single room. Every room has to have a 7-foot TV or an 8-foot TV in it. Every room in the house.
Right.
And
Dude, there's one television. So there's three people that live here. It's my wife and I and my 21-year-old son. We have one television that we all share, and I'm gonna guess that it's like a 22-inch. Like, it's very small. We
right.
have the tiniest of televisions and just one.
And did you have when you were growing up? Did you have one phone on the wall in the kitchen, or maybe two phones in the house?
Right. There was a main family phone, and then my parents had a second phone. It was the same line, but it was in their bedroom.
Right.
But um up until I was like probably 12, I think, we had a party line, which was even more ridiculous. Do
Now
you remember
that's
those things?
I don't really, because we kind of were in the 20th century before Iowa was, but
Right. Yeah, I was a little behind.
no, I know of them in the 50s in New York. There were people had party lines, but by the time the 60s came around and I was old enough to understand life, there were no party lines. People had their own phone lines, but probably in the country, in the most rural parts of New York, they still
Oh
had
yeah,
uh, party lines and stuff. But
I'm
the
sure.
whole idea now, because the consumerism, we're talking about cups. The must-have cup. Can you imagine you got $20 for tonight to have, and this is supposed to pay for your dinner or lunch, whatever, and you
Right.
say, "Wait a minute, somebody on TikTok has a must-have cup. I got to order that cup. Fuck living today. Fuck paying the rent. You
Right.
know, when does it
So
stop?"
my wife has recently come across this Timu site or whatever, which seems to me like it's a lot like Wish is like the it's not even like a dollar store Amazon. It's worse than that. It's like it's like the 1 cent store of Amazon is what Wish is,
Uh,
right? And actually, if you do your research, you'll find out that when you order from Wish, you're actually getting the rejected items of Amazon. So, um, just so you know, I don't know if you know that. You can fact check me on that if you like. However, I'm pretty sure that most Wish products are rejects from the Amazon
I wouldn't doubt it.
factory.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But so this other Timu is like a new Wish kind of thing or whatever, and my wife has just been going bananas ordering little things off of it, but I'm like, okay, honey, I understand that it's a very cheap item. Okay, that's fine. But what I would like you to see is that you bought 75 of them over the last, 3 months.
Yeah.
Please stop doing that.
And do you need it? Is it part of your? This is the thing.
Yeah, no, not like, but I will say, like, she's organized our bathroom quite a bit. We
That's
have
nice.
a lot of little things. So, like, her makeup is so much more like functional in the bathroom now. It's not just like everywhere, all over the kitchen, or all over the bathroom sink. Now
Because she
she's
bought
got
an
like a little
organizer
holder.
off a Wish or what is the new place, whatever it is.
This Timu, yeah,
Yeah. Well, lately, and I think I posted something last weekend on Twitter about this. Guitars. I don't need another guitar. Guitars are getting cheaper and better, cheaper, and they're all over the place. Everybody's making guitars, and I think 10 years ago I made this observation. We don't need any more guitars in America.
oh
If
my gosh, there's so
people
many.
who
If you go to a pawn shop, I mean, like,
right, people could just pass down the guitars they bought, intending to learn to play and never did,
yeah.
to people who need them. And it's still, and so every day in America that we're selling another billion guitars or something. And they're all, well, every brand is not just Fender and Gibson anymore. It's like everything under the sun, and cheap guitars. And they're presented to me all day, and I'm like, I don't need another guitar. Every time I see one, I want one. But I got to convince myself, you don't need this. Well, go learn to play the 18 guitars you already have.
I have to say, with the number of guitars there are in the world, the prospect of what Rush predicts in 2112 is totally foreseeable.
What was
Like,
that?
I could a post-apocalyptic person stumbling upon a random guitar,
Oh,
and
yeah.
not, what I mean? Like when this world like has gone away and there's a new generation of people, they're going to come across some guitars for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There are. I wonder, because we know how many there are estimates that there are 400 million guns in America. I wonder how many guitars there
Oh
are.
yeah, it's sick, dude. Like, dude, like, and I know a couple people that have like arsenals, and like, because this is the thing that I don't get, because most of the people that have an arsenal like that, it's not like they're, when stuff pops off, it's not like they're loaning them to the neighborhood. They're gonna be sit, but I mean, those are, you can only use a couple of those at a time, bro. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? You got two arms. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, how many do you need?
yeah. And by the time you get to any of them, you're going to be dead anyway. The idea that, and I don't want to go down the whole fucking gun thing, but the idea that you can defend yourself against a modern military force with just guns you bought, forget about it, man. You're
Well,
overwhelmed.
I mean, I will say that that's probably part of why they get uptight about trying to restrict what kind of guns they can have, because they want to maintain the ability to actually take back the country if the people
But
felt like
this
that's what they needed to do.
that is the argument they make. But
Of
seriously,
course.
if you look at Waco and the tanks going through the walls, Waco had all those assault rifles. They had stockpiles of them, but tanks came through the walls and they just fucking
Right.
burned down your. We'll just huff and puff and burn down your fucking house, and you don't stand a chance against the military. This is not 1776 and muskets and
Right.
British
No,
just
I
standing
mean,
up saying, "Shoot me."
I think I think what would end up happening, or at least what people of a revolutionary mind might think, you know, is that, sure, there's, because you got to remember, a lot of these guys are former military themselves. They know how to stop a tank. You know what I mean? So some of, you get that's why like these, when they pass these gun laws and stuff, and then they want to, they get the ATF to try and disarm a militia. Like,
Yeah,
that's not the county sheriff going to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
ATF
because,
is the most hated government agency there is. The
well,
ATF
to be
agent.
fair, I think they should be.
Yeah.
Like,
Even the other agencies hate them. The CIA and the FBI and the NSA all hate the ATF.
right,
I learned that from Jeff Twitch Burns, who was a Hell's Angel, big time player in the Hell's Angels, who's also an FBI agent at the same time.
right.
Think about that. I mean, and it didn't get killed. He was a counterterrorism expert, and basically, but you know what? I would think if the Hell's Angels found out that you were actually a Fed, but he somehow managed to walk that tight wire. But yeah, so you know what? Ex-military, non-ex-military. When you say a lot, there's a portion of them that definitely are ex-military, but not necessarily
Right.
elite military. Not
That's
necessarily
true too.
anybody
That's
who's ever
definitely
been in
fair
a
to say.
war. You know,
Right.
yeah, my brother's ex-military. He's never fought in a war.
Right. That's also a fair distinction to make. But I think overall what it will come down to is there's definitely still going to be losses on the government side, we'll call it. Okay.
Right.
So, because basically if we go to war, essentially it's the people versus the government
Well,
is really what you're looking at. You know what I mean?
that's the greater safety valve than having your own arsenal of guns is knowing that this is your brother.
Right.
He's not gonna be enforcing martial law on you. You're talking about your
Right.
neighbors and your brother and your
Right.
cousin.
That's what yeah, because that factors in of, because like I know, like I remember seeing video, this was a few months ago, but there was like a trend of law enforcement officers that were saying, like, when there was like this big push to make some of these firearms illegal, and there was talk that people might have to go and get firearms from people that are registered to have weapons that would now be illegal with new laws. And there was a number of law enforcement officials making videos saying that they would not disarm Americans. And how many soldiers would feel that way? How many soldiers would feel that, like, no, that's not an order I'm going to follow? If the United States government, if the United States government gives an order for soldiers to go and disarm Americans, which is a clear violation of the Second Amendment, okay, these soldiers took an oath to the Constitution, bro. You know what I mean? To defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So when the government says, hey, I want you to blatantly disregard the rights of the American people, it is a responsibility of the soldier to now understand I need to fucking follow my people and not my government, because my government just told me the rights of the people don't fucking matter.
Yeah, yeah. So all that stuff, but uh, I don't think guns are. Well, maybe they do fall into this whole. No, obviously they do, but people who are buying guns. Man, I'm talking out my ass today because I was about to say people who are buying guns have the money for them, but that's not always the case. But people who are buying guns the right way through a gun shop and legally purchasing guns generally have the funds for it. They're not spending their lunch money or dinner money on another gun. I don't think,
Well,
for the most
and
part.
I don't know if you're getting, I don't know, I mean, obviously, I don't know any gun runners, but I can't imagine getting an illegal gun deal to happen without having cash in hand. You know what I mean? You got to
Yeah.
bring your money to the wood. You want to get that shit, because like you're not getting that on credit. You know what I mean? Not
Um,
especially in the criminal world. Like that doesn't the criminal world doesn't really run on credit. You know what I mean? Like
I have to
you,
bite my lip on this one.
I mean, you probably know a little more because like you've been exposed to higher levels of criminality than I certainly
I
have.
would have
That's
to say that I have to take the fifth.
sure, sure. I totally understand that. I totally get that. Uh,
Uh,
in my experience, people would generally have to have their money beforehand, but I could see instances you'd have to have quite a reputation to be able to have that kind of clout. I would say though, they're not
Yeah.
just doing that for any Joe Blow.
Yeah, it generally has to be, somebody but there are people, listen, just because I'm giving you a gun, maybe just because I'm giving you a gun and on credit doesn't mean this gun is going to protect you from my collectors.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. You're not gonna see my collectors coming, bro.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, what? That's enough. I better let's change.
Right. I mean, full disclosure, I want nothing to do with guns. Ever since the day I got shot, I've stayed far away from guns. I'm just like, you know what? I'm good. I'd like to
Yeah,
stick around on this planet for a while. You know,
I
it was
haven't
not a
never.
fun experience.
I've never had like a good experience come from gun involvement.
Yeah, I
Never in
mean,
my life.
yeah, they're not enhancers of situations.
Yeah. But this whole idea that we just buy so much fucking shit, and then I started to go off on a tangent of the plastic stuff. Do you ever stop to notice how fucking, because we know that at the bottom of the Marianas Trench there is like a mile and a half deep, just plastic dump that, and it never is going to rot away. It's just going to sit there, fish eat it, whatever. It does affect the planet. It poisons all of us. That's just in one spot. Plastic is
Right,
everywhere. Do you ever go to the grocery store and realize just how much disposable, one-use plastic
right. Oh
that
yeah,
it's cookies in a plastic little thing, and you eat the cookies, and then you throw this
right,
plastic in the garbage, and what happens with it? And it's over and over. And every day we are filling up, because the machines that we were selling could do 500 packages per minute. So they have machines and it's just not cookies, it's fruit, it's cheese, it's everything that you buy. Every single item is packaged in disposable plastic,
right.
and so all that feeds in. So I am totally down with this idea of stop buying shit. First of all, think about shit, and then how we buy shit. And I
Right.
come back to my own products that I buy on it. Like I buy cannabis. People know I buy cannabis, but I'm very concerned about the way and I bring this up every time I go to the dispensary. Now this is glass, and these can be recycled, and that's good. Caps are plastic, but most of these marijuana sellers now, since it became legal, the old guys would just sell it in a sandwich bag, or
Yeah.
and while that's still plastic, it's not as toxic as these caps are going to be to the planet and all that stuff.
Right.
But since legalizing marijuana, the packaging has become really detrimental. I mean, what do we got here?
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, when you think about the number of pre-roll tubes that are probably out there.
right?
You know what I mean? Them little tubes that your pre-rolls usually come in.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
But that's
there's
paper, and that's biodegradable. At least it's not plastic.
oh, yours isn't plastic? Ours are plastic.
Really?
Yeah, we have like I don't think we have any because we haven't had them in a while, but yeah, we get them in like a small cylinder tube. We get our individuals from the dispensary, and dude, there's got to be millions of those in the country.
Right.
You know, when you think about the different places that are selling in all the states that are legal, I guarantee you every single one of them probably has those pre rolls or something similar to it,
Now
and that's
maybe
millions of them,
maybe
millions of them.
maybe we should be smart, but we're not. Neither one of us
But
is smart.
I mean, there's a lot of
Let's be
ways.
honest. Neither one of us are smart.
I'm not a smart
b-
man, but I do know what my money
because
is.
think about this: the de-influencers, the TikTok people who are telling people not to buy shit, are making mint on this stuff. They're making mint on just putting videos out there that tell people not to overindulge. There's got to be a market for idiots like me to go on TikTok and say, "Don't buy cannabis in this." Complain when you go to your dispensary. Look at the way, and just I would think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's no interest in that content at all. But just a guy who's just de-influencing about how to buy de-influencing about how to and how not to buy cannabis products.
Right. Yeah, because like when I think about, because especially growing up poor, man, we reused our plastic quite a bit. There's a lot of little things that you could do, like that any person can do in their regular life to help that sort of thing. Like so, get your so you have your like canisters, like even for chips or whatever. Say like, you know, um, you well chips is a little bit different because those bags are different, but you can use a canister. You buy in bulk at like Costco or whatever, and have a big canister. But you have an old, smaller one that you kept, and you just refill your smaller one in your house with the big one. And so then you're not purchasing as many plastic things over time. You see what I'm saying? Those are
Yeah.
like little things that you can do.
Craig Johnson, who was in the chat room, said it took a turn when tampons went into the plastic applicator. Ah, this is a field I know nothing about, and
I
I
was gonna.
don't.
I don't know
You know
really.
how squeamish I am with buttholes, but I am squeamish with the idea of periods and how they work, and so I don't want to know this information. The vagina to me is like it's like a gift. It's like a delicate flower, gift to man. It's sweet as sugar. I don't want to know that it bleeds once a month, and then they got to. I don't want to know about. I don't want to think.
I
Uh,
love you so much,
so
bro.
I
So
don't really know.
when my wife was had our daughter, she had a C-section, and I was there in the room. And this is how different we are, bro. This is like you don't want to know stuff. So she's having her C-section. They got her cut open. They start like I see a lot of movement and like and I'm kind of behind this little half curtain that they put up on her chest, and I start peeking around the curtain, and the nurse like taps me on the shoulder. She's like, "You might not want to do that," and I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Well, I've seen a lot of dads peek around that curtain and then fall on the floor because they passed out." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is better than Discovery Channel, you know?" So I peek around the curtain. They have her organs like out and on her chest, like right below her breast. Like, and I'm just like, would would it be okay if I smelled her real quick? And they're like, no, you can't do that. Like, I was like, I'm just never gonna get this opportunity again. You know what I mean? Like, how many chances do you get at that sort of thing?
Too
Um,
many.
yeah, but
That's my answer. Too many.
they deemed it very they said that was inappropriate behavior. You can't do
Right.
that. You can't be smelling people in
Smelling.
in this
No, I get
country.
the smelling thing, but not in that situation. I'm a big smeller. I like to smell things. But when that was going on with me, instead of peeking around the curtain, I went out and listened to the Met game on the radio.
No, you didn't.
I
No, you
did.
didn't, bro.
I can tell
I
you
love
right
you.
now, Dwight Gooden was pitching, and Dale Murphy was up at bat, and Dale Murphy hit a 409-foot shot right to dead center, but the wall was 410 feet. Mookie Wilson caught the ball up against the fence, and then I went back in, and my son was born.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say right now. Okay, Matt. That you telling that story in that way, I'm really glad that you don't watch sports anymore. You know what I mean?
No, this was the most important thing in my life at the time. It's like,
Uh,
wait, Gooden's on the mound tonight. Yeah.
oh man. I mean, I probably felt the same way when Kerry Wood was pitching for the Cubs when he first came out, and he was just like a strikeout machine. If it was his day in the rotation, I wanted to watch the game.
Right.
I do remember that. Like,
Also,
man,
I
I don't
wanted to escape the blood
the
and
horrors that were happening in
oh
the
my god.
operating room.
Yeah, it's like the band Live is that the name Live?
Live, yeah, that's a
Thunder
band.
crashes. You know, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I don't want to. Why would somebody put that in a music video? My
Yeah, the
God.
placenta falling to the floor. I worked at Quiznos for a while, and I don't know if you know this, but when you go to the Quiznos sub shop and you order soup, their soup comes with a polenta roll. Yeah. And one day there was a lady coming through and she ordered soup. And I asked her accidentally if she wanted a placenta roll. And yep, yep, that was definitely the day that I learned the pronunciation of that word because like I don't know what happened. I was so embarrassed. If I could have crawled under the register, I would have because I was
I
so embarrassed.
I am credited in a book called what is it called? It's called the Beginner's Guide to Placental Pathology. As the main researcher for that. I used to cut up placentas every single day, part of my job.
What was
The
your job?
I was a research scientist in pathology for a medical school, and basically I did a lot of baby autopsies, a lot of infant autopsies, a lot of natal autopsies like stillborns and abortions, and then some real autopsies of adult people too. But it was all
Was
of it.
that tough work to do?
Yeah, I was hired as a videographer. The guy just told me a videographer with some web experience and understanding of IT. Okay, that sounds like me. And I went in, and then my first day on the job, he said, "I hope you're not squeamish." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, we're going down to the morgue. We're going to cut up a lady who just died about an hour ago. Uh, she's about 480 pounds, and she had a tumor in her that was 65 pounds. We're gonna go cut her open and take it out. It might stink a little bit." And I was wait, I'm squeamish. I'm the most squeamish person in the world. I can't look at a cut. I can't look at my own cut. Oh well, this is the job you take. So I go down to the morgue and get dressed in this whole and man, I can tell you, everybody is full of shit. When you die, no matter
Yeah.
even if you just shit an hour ago,
Uh huh.
the stench in the stomach and the bowels. Oh my God.
Right.
And that's the toughest part of that job. It's just, I gotta smell this stuff while I'm trying to work. Human beings are pretty disgusting on the inside. You know, we're all the same on the inside. Yeah, we are all the same on the inside. We're vile, disgusting,
Yeah.
really. But yeah, so that was my one guy said to me, because I used to post a lot. He was a fan of the band. I used to post a lot of stuff about pathology. He goes, "Wow, you did a lot. You did autopsies." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Was that your job?" I was like, it's funny. Nobody does them just for fun anymore. It's always got to be about money. Was
Oh,
that your job? I can't.
right.
Why would I be doing autopsies if it were not my job?
Up the- I mean, I still feel like it's a fair question because if it's not your job, I sure want to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? like if
Uh,
you're doing autopsies in your spare time, it's not your job. I really want to know that that's the kind of hobby you're into because I'm going to stay on your good side. You know what I mean?
Craig Johnson just said, "I want to fight Willie today." Let's
I
get it
mean,
on.
yeah.
That's
See,
what he just said.
I'm not going to get bent out of shape about somebody who doesn't even play anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He wants to fight you right now in the street right now.
Craig had a comment earlier that I wanted to address, but we were talking about other stuff. This right here, poor Craig, he never got a pet rock. I want you to know, Craig, if you come to Grants has lots of pet rocks. That's right. That's right. Grants, we have Grants Rocks. It's actually a Facebook group. There's people that decorate little rocks and they put them all around town and they take pictures of them and they post them on Grants Rocks, and then it's other people's jobs to go and find the rocks that they posted.
My wife
So if you
spent
want to get yourself a pet rock, you can come here to Grants and we could do a little adventure together. We can make a video about getting you a pet rock. We could totally do that. We can make that happen, Craig.
My wife
I
spends
want to make your
probably
childhood
about
dreams
10
come
hours
true.
a month painting rocks. And I don't, I just don't get this painting rocks thing. But
Yeah.
what do you feed a pet rock? This is what we should open a pet rock food store. Pet rock food.
Dude, that'd be great. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
if people will buy anything. That's one thing we know. People will buy anything. I mean, pet rock. I'm
You
trying to
know,
remember that craze. That was like
and
so long
and
ago.
if you made it like a liquid that came in like a little bottle with a dropper on it, and you just drop it on your rock a little bit, because then it would evaporate. It would be like it absorbs it, like you are feeding your rock. You
And the
know,
pet rock could overeat and get like obese, and then you got to take your pet rock to a pet rock therapist
I
to
think
talk about
we'd
feeding.
have to. I think the vials should be filled with mineral water, because what do you give a pet rock? Mineral water, of course.
Okay,
You know that
mineral
that
water.
seems
Yeah, it
that
does
seems
seem.
legit. Some yeah, Lacroix. We could.
Um, March 18th, which is coming up next weekend, this next Saturday. I have a gig. Unfortunately, I have a gig. I wish I didn't have a gig. Henry Phillips is going to be opening for Robert Klein in Connecticut, which is not far from me. It's right across the Sound in Fairfield, Connecticut, and I would love to go to that show. I'm going to do my best to see if I can get Henry on. Now, Tom Kanopka told me I should not mention anything about Robert Klein. I've asked Robert Klein to be on the show. He said he would. Uh, God, a year ago he said he would do it, and then something came up and he put me off a bunch of times. And the last I heard from him was about 3 months ago. He said he wasn't feeling well. Now I know he just had a birthday and he had a grandchild, but he's out working again. So I'm thinking I might reach out and try and get Robert Klein on just to promote. And I don't think he might. I'm at this point. It might be like, oh, you fucking pest. All right, I'll do it. And I don't want to be that. I don't want somebody coming on the show pissed that they had to say yes to make me go away. I don't want that. But I would love to have Robert Klein on the show. And there's possibility if Henry's going to be in New York anyway, I could get him on the morning show, and that would be good. I haven't talked to Henry in since the last Podathon, I think, whatever.
Right.
But I'm interested in that show. I'm getting to see a lot of comedy. Getting to see a lot of comedy, man.
Right on.
What is Craig saying now? Thanks for what is that? Exis
Exerscaping?
Exescaping? I'm a rancher. I don't know. Thanks to exerscaping, I'm a rancher. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either.
Exerscaping. I am going to learn a new word as soon as the show's over. I'm going to go to the dictionary and look that up. Exerscaping.
Is it look
Let me see.
man, I don't what
Ex,
could exerscaping be? See, now I want to figure out what it is before I even look it up.
one finger tone. Exers
Uh,
landscape in a style which requires little or no irrigation. So you were talking about the mineral water stuff.
oh, yeah,
All right,
okay.
block that dude. He wants to send me notifications about. It's not. He didn't even exerscaping. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so you got that show, the questions show.
Yeah, I have questions.
That's
That's
Sunday.
yep, this Sunday the
What
12th,
time?
9:30 p.m. It's a late Sunday show.
You think Craig will be there? He's an Albuquerque resident.
I hope so. I would love it if Craig comes.
He won't come out. He'll only come out if you bring Billy Wayne Davis or
It's at the
Dan.
Dry Heat Comedy Club, so I mean it's a legitimate venue.
It's a
So
legitimate.
well,
It's
because
fucked
I
up that
mean
you have
there's a
to
lot
say
of
that.
shows that happen in like the corner of a restaurant. Like
Right.
I love Kevin Kennedy. He's a super solid dude. He's helped me get a lot of shows, but like there was a couple times he booked it. He had a room. The door was like right behind the comic, and I'm like that's like the worst thing that you can have for a show set up is the like
Oh.
you know what I mean? Like you got to set the room up different. You can't have
I
that.
I had a gig. Now this is going back 40 years. I had a gig where I was playing bass and working the door at the same time. Working,
That's got to be difficult.
checking people's IDs and taking their cover charge money while playing bass.
I mean, what?
Yeah,
How's
very.
that? Like,
Yeah, and you know some of the weird places we've played in. You know, I think I talked about some of them, but yeah, I mean, so having a door behind you is not. I've had to set up on the ice machine where the ice machine would just every like 2 minutes you hear new ice coming down.
yeah,
You know, all that
yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah, it is what it, but you know, having a door behind you is no big whoop in my experience. We've had some of the
I
crazy.
mean, it's just it's not your ideal setup, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, yeah.
Is like
Now,
it
did you say the
creates
guy's name was Ted Kennedy? Because I thought Chappaquiddick.
Kevin Kennedy.
Oh, Kevin Kennedy. Because I
Yeah,
was gonna say he'd probably hook you up with a gig at like Chappaquiddick at the bottom of a creek. Uh, Ted Kennedy. I
right,
don't know. Yeah, I'm getting close to that whole politics thing. Stay away from the
right.
politics.
Yeah, we
That's
gotta. We went off on guns for quite a few minutes. You're probably gonna get some hate mail over the stuff I said today. I apologize for that.
I don't know. I don't get a lot of gun hate. I don't get
Right,
for some reason even people who disagree with me on the gun thing. 'Cause I'm not an anti-Second Amendment thing. I do believe people have a right to guns. It's just I don't see the need for assault weapons. I know they think they're going to fight the American military at some point. It's not going to happen. Even Ruby Ridge, like or Waco and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to happen. They're not.
I mean, it's not anything we should wish for. That's for sure.
And you're never going to defend yourself adequate. The best thing to do if the government comes at you with tanks and stuff is just say, let's handle this in court. No children will die, no houses will get
Right.
burned down. Let's just settle it in court. 9 times out of 10, as you saw in the Randy Weaver case, 9 times out of 10, you'll win in court. You,
Right.
you know, it's
Because
just
I mean, because the law and the Constitution are actually on your side,
yeah,
and what they're doing is a violation of people's rights. That's I
right,
mean, that's why they win in court.
right,
I mean,
yeah,
I mean
and
to be fair,
yeah, and as long as judges are not totally fucking crazy like and people will say a lot of judges are the movie Justice for. By the way, you never. I think I mentioned that movie once before. You've never seen it, and Justice for All or Justice for All, Al Pacino. You're out of
I
order.
don't think if I've seen
You're
that
out of
one.
order. This whole fucking place is out of order. Oh man, it's a takedown of the legal profession as all being psychotic, crazy people. I mean, the judge is like a pedophile, a young girl abuser, and everybody, every single lawyer in the whole thing, and every judge, it's just fucked up in more ways than you could imagine.
Man.
And Al Pacino finally has a breakdown. I don't want to spoil a thing, but that's where you're out of order. This whole fucking court is out of order. Don't you see what's going on here?
Right. I should definitely check it out because Al Pacino is actually one of my favorite actors. And because I think we were talking about this once before because I thought that was from An Officer and a
Yeah, you
Gentleman
did.
or
You
whatever,
know
or The
Scent of a
Graduate
Woman.
or whatever,
Scent,
whatever one he was winning with
Scent of a
Toots
Woman
O'Donnell.
was the one you brought up at
Yeah,
the
Scent of a Woman, where he's the blind guy, right? Yeah.
right. Yeah, no. You might
I
have.
thought because he gets a little bit like that in that movie,
Yeah,
but not like what you're saying.
right.
And so I definitely and I love courtroom scenes and stuff like that. Like, I grew up. Was it you talking the other day about when you were younger and you would go and check out library books, or was that your
Yeah,
guess?
yeah, yeah.
Because like when I was in sixth grade, I remember I would go to the public library and check out stacks of books on like the best trial defenses ever, the best defenses of F. Lee Bailey. Like I was in sixth grade, so I'm like 12 years old. Like I was just taking in, case log from the 30s and 40s and 50s and
Did you
like
want to be a lawyer? Is that what
my
was it?
my first that was the first thing that I ever really wanted to be was a lawyer. And then A Few Good Men came out and made it even like that was really cool. Like I remember being just mesmerized by that movie.
How about The
Like,
Firm?
oh, I love that movie. That's a
Yeah,
great movie. It's also a very good book. I don't want to like just so you know, John Grisham is really good author. If you haven't read his stuff, you should definitely get into
yeah,
it.
I've read all the
Because,
stuff.
and here's the thing, because a lot of people think, oh, I could just watch the movie, whatever. You'll, I cannot tell you the number of times that you will find that the book is better than the movie, because it's so difficult for a director to have the full vision that an author can put out there. The
Right,
director
you have
can
to
only
edit
give
a
you
lot of
so
the
much of
content
that
out.
vision.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not just
and
not just the vision, but also important lines, important contact, important
sure,
context, all of
yeah,
it.
like
Yeah,
Dennis Lehane has a book, Mystic River, which is a phenomenal movie. I think it won multiple Academy Awards. Sean Penn was in that movie. Um, but dude, and there's things in the movie that you don't even understand if you haven't read the book. There's like, because they don't, there's not like, having read the book, I see those things in the movie and I can go, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And like another interesting thing is that like in the book Fight Club, I'm gonna get the guy's last name wrong because I always say it wrong. Do you know who wrote Fight Club?
I don't know who wrote the book.
Chuck
No,
Patalik or something like that. His last name is kind of hard to say, but that guy. There's preludes in the book of Fight Club that indicate that he's crazy. You know
right,
what I mean? But like if you watch the movie, like it's not really clear to you what's happening until that moment in the hotel room.
right.
You know what I mean? And so like, and I watched the movie before I read the book. And as I read the book, I was like, I wonder if I would see these things in the book for the like flashes of Tyler that they actually tried to depict in the movie by having like little like second image flashes of Tyler Durden in the background
Yeah,
whenever Edward Norton's character would be like there's actually indications of that in the book, and they made it like a real thing in the movie, which was probably one of the trickiest things that they could accomplish, in my opinion, for that director. For
yeah,
him to be able to take the parts of the book that indicate that, maybe there's more to eat meets the eye than here. You know what I mean? To take those parts in the book and put them as like images where Tyler's pushing through. Like that was some expert directing, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like that
yeah.
was, yeah.
All right.
I,
I'm looking at the schedule because I just got a comedian that I've been chasing after say, okay, when do you want me on? I'm just looking for next week now. Next week is kind of wide open, right? Yeah, I have nighttime shows next week booked, and there'll probably all be no shows anyway. I don't have a single guest for the morning show booked for next week, so I'll definitely work on that. Get for next week. Anyway, just looking things over. I have a gig to get to today, a nursing home thing where hopefully I won't be asked to play any like blurred lines or crazy shit like that. I'll do still my
WAP.
old.
They're gonna want to hear that WAP.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. But it's the old ladies wanted one old lady, and then everybody else in the room will complain. So you can't please everybody.
Right.
You gotta go for the masses. That's what
But when you're playing in a nursing home, is it DAP instead?
is it what?
Is it DAP instead?
Yeah,
Dry ass pussy.
yeah. Yeah.
Got to
You
knock
got
the
some
cob.
dry ass pussy.
Oh my god. Terrible. Oh, I also would
Smoke
like to
comes out.
mention at the end of the month, the 24th and 25th, I will be at the Bosses Comedy Club in Fargo. I'm opening for Preston Williams there, March 24th
Wow.
and 25th.
Get Preston to come back on the show. He was supposed to come back on, and then what does he work a day job or something? March.
I believe he still does work a day job. He does concrete construction. He's like a crew runner for a concrete construction company. Is his day gig.
So the 24th is a Friday, and 25th
Yep,
is a
Friday and
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Get it to
So
um Yeah,
What do
that'll
you,
be awesome. You know what? I'll get a hold of him today and see if he wants to be on next week so he can plug the show and stuff.
yeah, that would be good.
That'd be great.
Yeah, plug the show and all that kind of stuff, and just talk about what the fuck is going on in Fargo or in South Dakota. It's probably still winter there, right?
It is. I was just thinking that the other day because somebody was complaining that they were going to get more snow, and I was just like, man, I probably should have waited like another month to to try and get. But I mean, whatever. It
But
is.
yeah, by the time May 3rd comes along and you're going to Nebraska, that'll be fine.
Oh yeah, it'll be gone by then. Yeah,
Yeah.
usually.
Winter, it's weird. We didn't have much of a winter here in New York, but the last week it's been really cold, and we're probably going to stay cold for the next 2 weeks. Colder than it's been for most of the winter. Waited till it's almost springtime. So it's going to be spring in 12 days now. First day of
Right.
spring is 12 days away. I'm looking forward to that. Spring training, more baseball memories. Let's go Mets. Are you a big Mets fan? Yes, you are. Big Mets fan. Fuck the Cubs, right? Right? Fuck the
Dude,
Cubs. Oh,
listen, I've been a
come on.
Cubs fan since I was itty
No,
bitty.
but until today. But now you're gonna fuck the Cubs. Come on, you could say it. Come on, fuck the Cubs. Fuck the
I
Cubs.
can't. I can't do that. I'm not one of
Fuck
them
the Cubs.
people. I don't do that. Matter of
Fuck
fact,
the
when I
Cubs.
was in prison, this is a true story. I'll tell this real quick. When I was in prison, I had this buddy Jeff, and we used to horseplay sometimes, wrestle around, whatever. And one of the things that was kind of a thing in our prison is to get somebody to say so and so's my daddy. You know what I mean? So like Matt's my daddy, right? And so we're wrestling around, and that's like how you say uncle. Like that's how they're gonna let you go. And so this guy got me in like an ankle lock, and I just kept, and I was on the tier, and I just kept rolling, rolling through it. But then he pinned me up against the grate because there's like a metal grate so that you don't fall down the tiers. And so he pinned me up against the grate so I couldn't roll anymore, and he just keeps wrenching it. And he's like, say just my dad. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. And he's like, dude, say it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say it. And then he wrenches just a little bit more. My knee and my ankle, like my knee popped, my ankle started popping, like I just start popping all sorts of different spots on my leg. He feels that and immediately lets me go. He's like, damn, dude, you gonna let me pull your damn leg off before you say I'm your daddy? And I was like, yes, I would. Like, and
So
I don't know, I just came up different. Like, I will not cry uncle. You're gonna have
all
to
right.
make me pass out first.
No,
You know what I mean? And like,
it's not by force or anything. I just think that you really want to say Mets are my daddy. Mets are my daddy. Come on, you want to
oh
say
my
it. You
god.
want to say it. You
I mean,
feel
they
the
might be
need to
my
say it.
mom. I
You
mean,
feel
I'll give it. The Mets could be my mother.
the Mets are going to breastfeed you.
Well, yeah, because they suckle.
Yes. Let's go Mets. I'm not really. I don't give a fuck.
Uh,
People
No,
know that.
I wish the Mets all the success in the world, especially when they're playing anyone in the National League Central.
Yeah. I think there was the owner put up a new scoreboard and right on it. Mets will win the World Series in 2023. It's like, dude, they have. It's not. They. I
Hey,
don't know if every team goes through this idea, but the Mets are notorious for pronouncing themselves champions in spring training, and they haven't
I'm.
won one since 1986.
I mean, I know it's a different sport, but I definitely feel like the Bears could probably go from worst to first for the Super Bowl next year. I mean, they're probably in a position where that's the thing that could happen.
There you
But that's
go.
probably my fanship talking.
The Bears are your daddy. Say it.
The Bears are my dad. I love the Bears.
Your daddy. All right.
Oh my God. Oh, do you know that? Okay, hang on. All right,
All
hang on.
right.
So do you know Mama and Papa Bear got divorced, right? From Goldilocks and Three Bears. Mama and Papa Bear got divorced, so now they gotta have a custody hearing for Baby Bear, right? This is one of the oldest jokes ever. And so the judge asked the Baby Bear, he said, Baby Bear, do you want to go live with your Papa Bear? He goes, oh no, Papa Bear, he beats me. He goes, oh, okay, so you want to go live with your Mama Bear? No, no, I don't want to live with Mama Bear. Mama Bear, she beats me too. And the judge says to Baby Bear, well, where do you want to live, Baby Bear? He goes, I want to go live with Chicago Bears. They don't beat nobody. That's such
I
an
like
old
that
joke.
one.
It's a good joke. It's
Yeah,
a good joke.
you can only tell it for the Bears, so you can't tell it for the Mets. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I just
Yeah.
do? I just did something. All right.
What?
Well, that's going to
Oh,
be the
go ahead.
show. That's going to be a
Yeah,
show
it was great.
today.
It was fun.
It was great. I don't
It was
know.
fun. I had fun.
We'll see what the reviews are.
Yeah, let me know if you get hate mail.
I definitely will. So maybe we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, what's his name? Tomorrow? John Gibbs. That sounds like a guy who should be a baseball player or a football player or something. He's a comedian. Will be with
Joe
me.
Gibbs was a coach. Remember that? He coached the Redskins.
Oh yeah,
for a long
Redskins.
time. Yeah, and he I think he owns some NASCAR teams too. Also,
Right.
Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still alive. That's a long time ago now.
I met him actually. He came and spoke at the South Dakota State Penitentiary, and
Wow.
I shook that dude's hand. He had a driver come with him also. He did a speaking engagement at the chapel there. It was full too, and it was a really good day. I remember when Joe Gibbs came. That was
Very
awesome.
cool. Very cool. Well, that's a good note to end on. Joe Gibbs coming to prison to talk to you. Nice stuff. All right. If you're around tomorrow, feel free to pop in. You don't have to. Never feel pressure to like you have to come in and save me, but I do appreciate when you come in.
Hey man, I always love being on. It's always a pleasure. I always love hanging out with you.
All right.
You're the best friend in my mind.
I love you. I love the mind dog. I love having the dog be the best friend of my mind.
Yeah.
All right. See you later. Let's turn on your radio.
I me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen.